If there's one industry in India that's truly Atmanirbhar, it's the paint industry. Oligopolistic in nature, just a few companies, and they are more than enough to sort of cater to India's demand. But mind you, India's demand as well is pretty weak because our per capita income is a little lower. The per capita consumption for a United States, let's say for example, is at 12 kgs, but India is at 4 kgs. Now, of course, when the COVID crisis hit, for the paint sector as well, things were not good. In fact, it was a double whammy because not did we just have a lockdown, we also faced this entire migrant labor issue, a big chunk of whom are actually painters. So we had the labor shortage and we had the lockdown, and that's of course widely evident even in the the fourth quarter results, in the sale numbers as well. Your big names like Asian Paints, Berger, all of them saw a fall of almost about 8% in their quarterly sales numbers. But what's really striking is the way Dulux maker, the Dulux brand that you and I know, the company is Akzo Nobel. The kind of fall that it has witnessed on the top line, it was almost 17% on a year-on-year basis in Q4, which really got us thinking, why did Akzo Nobel see such a sharp decline in its sales compared to its peers? Well, up until now, we had the consumption story for India pegged as is that, there is this whole trend of uptrading or premiumization. Indians want now higher premium products, higher priced products, and the urban markets are a great place to start that off with because of the higher disposable incomes. However, when COVID hit India, this story changed. Now the consumption story lies in rural India. In almost all of our conversations with many players of India Inc. and more specifically those that are consumption oriented, all of them have acknowledged that rural India is where the story is. And of course, not to mention, whatever demand as well that you are seeing has mostly been limited to the mass economy products, not the premium products. Now, Akzo Nobel is in a position where not only does it have a high urban salience as opposed to a rural salience, but it also has a good chunk of high-priced or premium products in its portfolio, and that's where it loses out. And that's the reason why there is this 17% fall in the top line for Q4 in Akzo Nobel. But that's not to say that Akzo Nobel is not taking a corrective action. In fact, they sprung into action on this very point since before the COVID crisis. So since the beginning of FY20, they have been investing significantly in their distribution. So they've been opening up outlets in the rural areas, in the semi-urban areas, and in fact we had as well Mr. Rajgopalan as well saying just as much to ET now in a very rare conversation that they have been increasing their distribution to these places, and now he says that sales is 5%. Rural sales, that is 5% of their overall sales. So yes, they still have a long way to go, but yeah, they've at least started off. And secondly, waterproofing. That's a segment where they have recently launched a product. It's a solution-based product, so it does not really come under the luxury category or the premium category. And he does note that, there's been a massive surge in the mass economy products, and that's where essentially Akzo Nobel as well will perhaps, keep its eye out on. They've already done so with the waterproofing segment. But of course, the question is, when will demand return? Well, Akzo Nobel's, management hazards a guess in saying that perhaps Diwali is when they will be seeing a real recovery and perhaps 2 levels beyond what we saw even pre-COVID.